Hey guys, so today's video, I have a lot of dark makeup on. I went to see Bill Vallow last week and I was inspired to do a very dark smoky eye today. In honour of that absolutely gorgeous man and beautiful person. So, I wanted to do a fun video today. This time we're going to do a reaction of old videos from, I'm not even sure what the TV show was called, but it's similar to the Come Fly With Me or Airline or whatever the fuck it was called in the UK, based on EasyJet. This one is based on an American one, so I haven't seen any of these clips. I did originally want to do the EasyJet one, but I feel like I've seen so many of those episodes, it wouldn't actually be a raw reaction. So I figured we would do this one today. So, entitled passenger arrives early and demands ticket for earlier flight. What?
Bombastic side-eye. Criminal offensive side-eye.
Amy, Ben, and Phoebe Clement have arrived over 3 hours early for a flight to Fort Lauderdale and are hoping to get on an earlier flight.
It's not a bus! That is not how it works. I've been stuck in Dubai for I think it was as long as 10 hours. And it was in the middle of the night, so almost everything was shut. Thankfully, the company I work for had paid business class because the majority, even the food stuff, everything was closed. So I was literally just sitting in the computer lounge and doing stuff on my computer and walking around because it was dead. So I get it. It is frustrating hanging out in an airport, especially when shit is closed. But it's not a bus. You can't just catch a fucking earlier one. It's not how it works. Because what they're going to do if it's fully booked especially, you're going to end up kicking other people off the plane who just turned up on time. That's not how it works.
I have 2 young children. I'm going to be here for 3 hours.
Then why didn't you just get there 3 hours later? But I'm not saying you shouldn't get there early. Be to your flights on time, please. But if you've gotten there ridiculously early, you don't just jump on a train or a bus like you can with other transportation. You have to wait for that flight. The entitlement.
Is there anything you can do? There's 3 seats sitting there on that plane. She's got her tickets right here.
No, ma'am, you would actually have to pay the upgrade to get onto the flight.
That is understandable. If there is seats available, but you have to pay to have those seats, that's completely understandable. I bet she's going to be unruly about it.
How much are you saying this upgrade is going to be?
It's going to be about $125 each to go on the earlier flight.
I don't know why she's looking at the camera like we're going to help her. Honey, you made this mess yourself. You turned up early and just expected to jump on another fucking flight.
I'm supposed to be on a flight in 2 hours, and I'm stuck here. There's room on this plane, and she's telling me that I'm going to need to spend $400 instead of waiting here with my 2 children for 3 hours.
And I apologize, but
Am I the only person who actually likes being at an airport? I like watching the planes go up and go down. I find it really therapeutic. It's kind of like being at a mall. You can just walk around and have a look at stuff and you know, get some food. If you've got that many hours, they do have restaurants in airports. Just go and have some really good food. Airplane food is shit. I mean, I actually quite like airplane food, but, you know, it's nothing compared to an actual restaurant. So just go and enjoy a meal and then come back in a couple hours. It's not a big deal.
that's what...
You know what, the woman on the telephone itself was really clear. She said to me that you can do it, just bring your luggage so that you're not checking luggage, so that that's not an issue.
So she was given the wrong information, or she was saying that you can check your luggage early and go and hang out in the airport? Because it wouldn't surprise me if this Karen is changing what was said, because, you know, they do that.
Unfortunately, I wasn't on the phone. I don't know what was said.
Whatever, but you know, you've got the plane sitting right there, and I'm sitting right here, and now I have my children in your airport for 3 hours.
Okay, well then pay for the upgrade. If you're that fussed about it, just pay for the upgrade. Yes, it's expensive, but it's that or hang out at the airport. It is up to you. You have the options.
And there are empty seats on that plane, and I just think that that's a crazy policy. Absolutely crazy.
Thing is, people forget, it's not like a train or a bus. Airlines have to completely change their, I don't know what the terminology is for it, but the people on their flight, they have to change all of that. It's not just, oh, we can just type your name in. All of that has to be changed. It has to be approved by the captain. If they have luggage, it has to obviously go from being on the original plane to being grabbed and put onto the new one. It isn't as simple as just, it's the same when people turn up, you know, 5 minutes after the thing closes. They have to cut it off at some point because, again, they have to have the ledger of who the fuck is on their flight, and they have to do all their pre-flight checks, etc. It's not like a bus or a train where you could just jump on it. That's not how it works.
But no luck for Amy and family as the flight to Fort Lauderdale leaves on time with seats to spare. Back at BWI.
Oh, the flight has left and she's still complaining.
Stop it. Get some help.
Gina tries to explain the upgrade policy to Amy.
This is actually by our chief executive officer. Why can't I fly standby? Maybe it will help you understand.
I appreciate it, okay, and I understand that you could sell the ticket to anybody else. However, there's nobody here, there's an open seat, and I'm in your airport for 3 hours. Obviously, that's by someone's design.
Obviously, that's by someone's design. Yeah, yours, because you turned up early. She's literally putting the onus on this woman for her own bad management of time.
These are boarding passes. You're going to go out at B13. It's getting a left down. I enclosed that.
Oh, I don't need that.
Oh, God, she's rude.
Let's go. Come on, guys. Phoebe. Let's go.
Let me see what the comments say. She inconvenienced herself. Yeah, exactly. Why didn't she book the earlier flight to begin with? Very good fucking question. She's parading around with a $2,000 Louis Vuitton bag. She can afford the upgrade fee. That's a good point. No, actually, it's not a good point. Because people that have money don't like to fucking spend it themselves. I've mentioned this before. Argument between passenger and check-in agent over 600 grams.
EasyJet space in Luton.
Oh, this is I haven't seen it. The EasyJet one that I was mentioning before.
Check-in troubleshooter Helen Skeggs is trying to calm things down.
Start again. 5.6. This is 5.6 kilograms. Yeah. He doesn't want to allow that.
Right.
Just a basic
The passenger's hand baggage is just 600 grams over the 5 kilo limit. But check-in agent Ethan has decided to stick rigidly to the rules.
Normally they allow it, but you have to just pay a little extra for that extra load, because again, extra load means extra fuel, which you need to fucking pay for because it's your own fault for bringing extra shit. But I will say, this has genuinely happened to me. Like, I remember my mum complaining about it because literally every single person that went up to this check-in desk when we were abroad, every single person got charged extra. My mum said when we got back, she was like, I'm sure there must have been something wrong with the scales, because it's really strange that every single person had to pay extra for that flight. And then when we got home, we weighed the cases and it was lower than the thing. So, but obviously we couldn't prove that we hadn't taken anything out of the case since then. But it was really frustrating that, you know, clearly there was something wrong with that scale and they're charging people extra because there's a problem with their own fucking scales. But whatever. But if you bring extra, you pay extra. Sorry, that's just how it works, unfortunately. If it was like an extra 100 grams, they probably would allow it, but 600 grams, you know.
How many of the passengers have gone who got more than 5 kilograms? Let us check it today.
Yes.
Let's have a bet. You're all working within the rules, but you're forgetting some element.
Yeah.
People are trying to travel here.
Although check-in agents often use discretion, it seems Ethan has personal reasons for playing it strictly by the book.
600 grams extra. You guys are giving me a
I
headache?
understand what you're saying.
They shouldn't be grief in the first place, but then maybe I would have...
Okay, so this guy was giving him a hard time prior to weighing his luggage or whatever, and because of that, he didn't use the discretion. Yeah, well, I don't blame him. People were rude as fuck at the airport.
You know,
What grief?
What
grief?
Maybe I would have let you go with the
What
0.6
grief?
grams, but
What
you
grief
turned
did I
around
give
and you
you?
made personal comments, and that's why you...
This makes more sense. If it's a rule anyway, just...
It's got to be less than 5
Excuse
kilos.
me, so you are making safety regulations based on
No,
personal
I'm not.
comments? No,
I'm
no.
not. If
Let,
you've
let's get
been
it correct.
there-
Purely based on personal brief?
I'll tell you what, hold the laptop, take the laptop.
Let us see. You get your managing director here.
It's alright, sir.
Ethan is still refusing to give way over 600 grams of extra hand baggage. Helen is trying to keep the peace.
Not long ago, not about 2 weeks ago, 3 weeks ago on EasyJet. Same stuff, going through, coming back.
But then if it's at the discretion of the person, then he knows that at some point he will get caught out. So he knows if he does this all the time that this could be a problem. And if he hasn't been charged previously, then he's just got lucky. And at some point someone's going to fucking charge him, and it's just tough luck. He threw the dice and he lost.
Things are just getting worse.
I'm not checking him in full stop. I'm not going to... I've invaded my personal space. If someone else wants to check him in, fine. But I'm not going to have anyone waving their hand around me and putting their hand to my face and invading my space. That's it, full stop.
Sounds like this guy's just had enough of people being rude to him, and he's within his right to refuse to serve someone who is being antagonistic towards him. So I can see both sides. I can see why the customer is upset at the fact that the guy admitted the reason he didn't allow it is because of a personal gripe with him or whatever. But at the same time, the customer literally knows that he shouldn't be carrying that much stuff and has chanced it that every single time, oh, it's been fine. Well, this time it's not, and it's tough luck.
You're not happy to check him in.
I'm not having to check him in.
Right. Your comment that because of your some personal comment I made to my student, you have decided to forego safety or whatever. I am going to record that.
Sir, if you want to speak to a supervisor, go ahead. I don't want you to speak to me. I don't want you to speak to me.
He doesn't have to deal with people that are rude to him and people who make sly comments under their breath to other people about the customer service representative.
Is anyone waiting?
Don't go to this guy. He's not worth it.
You don't need to deal with them. That's not your job. You're allowed to forego that responsibility then to a supervisor or to manager or to another member of staff if you're not comfortable serving them.
Kind of attitude with the check-in assistants doesn't help anybody. But to see somebody doing like this sucks.
Another agent checks in the passenger, and Helen's not impressed with Ethan.
I think he must absolutely love it because he really likes the good old ruck, the good old, arguments, and he reacts badly to it. He does. He'll just be like, right, that's it, get out of the queue, not checking you in, which is, I just can't do that.
If someone's saying derogatory stuff or whatever under their breath about you or even to you, you are allowed to, as a customer service representative, you are allowed to refuse to serve them and have them be served by someone else. You don't have to just take it. That's what frustrates me sometimes about certain managers and team leaders and stuff. When people are being condescending or rude or swear at you, for example, you're allowed to refuse to serve them. I've had a customer literally slam their fists down because I was literally just following procedure, and I turned around and was like, okay, I'm not serving him. No, I'm not having someone be that aggressive to me. No chance. Like, someone else can serve him because I'm not fucking serving him. And I didn't serve him as a customer ever again. I literally refused. I was like, no, you can wait for somebody else because I'm not fucking serving you because you tried to intimidate me. That's not okay.
You can't expect to shout at me and then get everything you want. So that's why I stuck to the rules, and I'm allowed to. And that's it. And he's lucky that he didn't get it. So my comment over. Smile on my face now.
I don't think the supervisor dealt with that very well, I will say. What else have we got? Okay, this is one I want to finish with. I couldn't find the first part of this, but I think I've seen a bit of this on YouTube. Let me not spoil it.
It looked like that he wasn't wearing any undergarments on, that he was in decent exposure.
No! God, please, no! 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 No!
Exposing a little bit of his private parts, and they said he kind of had his legs open, just not really caring at all. And it's a lot of kids running around there, and they don't need to see that.
There was a couple of passengers that had some concerns about your genitals being exposed, and that, so you're wearing shorts or something under that? Please tell me.
Someone said in a comment, he obviously gets off on this, which makes it even worse. Why would he think that it's okay? Why would they call her and not security? Kilts are longer than that. Someone even said, like, he looks like he's enjoyed himself a bit too much. Yeah, there are certain people that get off on, like, flashing other people, whether purposefully or, like, accidentally, being seemingly accidental. And the fact that he's wearing shorts that short, and the fact that he hasn't got anything snug to make sure he doesn't flash with something that baggy.
What are you doing? Get back over on your side of the... Hello!
Yes, girls can wear skirts, but, like, you expect a girl not to wear something baggy so that she's flashing either.
That's not true. I mean, if they...
Okay.
So...
I had 3 different passengers, so I had to come and investigate it.
The fact that 3 different people have had to complain about him.
Because I have to determine whether or not with the complaints if I can go ahead and allow you on board. So if you have something underneath, you do. Okay, thank you. All right.
They can still ask you to change. If you're being clearly inappropriate, they can ask you to change. It's even with, I remember there was a case in the UK where someone was wearing like a bralette or something on a plane.
As I said, I wore this outfit going through security, going through passport control, jacket with me actually, because obviously Birmingham's not known for being that hot. So I had a jacket with me, decided not to wear it onto the plane, and first air staff said to me, "Excuse me, madam, you aren't dressed appropriately, and unless you cover up, we're going to remove you from the flight."
And people said, like, but it's a bralette, it's just the fashion, da 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 da. The thing is, I can understand it from both sides. I can understand that's frustrating. But the thing is, we have to be respectful of other people. People have also been, to be clear, it's not just from, like, wearing clothes that are minimalistic, I guess. But people have been kicked off for having, like, fuck Trump and, you know, swear words and whatever on T-shirts or hats and caps and things like that. So it's not simply just because of that. There is, like, a policy that you agree to when you pay for your ticket. Part of that is a dress code. Being covered up, not having inappropriate language on your clothing is part of that.
I'm not certain as to whether or not he has something on under the velour kilt.
That's not a kilt. Those are just really baggy short shorts.
Or kilt skirt type situation. But obviously, I can't ask him to lift it up. So it's going to be one of those things where he said he did. The other two passengers said he absolutely doesn't have anything on me. So I'm kind of between that. It's going to be a situation where I have to kind of watch and unfortunately try to see what I can see, for lack of a better phrase. I mean,
how inappropriate is that though? The fact that she has to put herself in that situation. They should have got a male member of staff maybe to assist her, because she shouldn't have to be looking for male genitalia at her work. Like, it's so inappropriate. I'm not talking about her, I'm talking about the fact that she has to do something so inappropriate to make other passengers feel safe because he's just not wearing something appropriate for public. You want to wear that in your own fucking home, you do you. You can wear hot pants, you can be completely naked, whatever the fuck you want. But if you're around children, other people, just wear something that's fucking appropriate.
I don't know. When I went over there, he stood up. I couldn't tell. He told me he had something on under it.
I'm glad that there's a male member of staff to help her.
But I couldn't tell because he didn't move in a way where I could tell if he was exposed or hanging loose or whatever.
I just know Yolanda isn't getting paid enough. She's been so professional. He's wearing a kilt. That's not a fucking kilt. I'm part Scottish. That's not a kilt. Kilts are a lot longer. Those are shorts, or possibly even a skirt. But either way, it's something that is so baggy that you can see up. They are incredibly short. So it's not a long passage.
She calls a manager to see what sort of procedure fits this unique situation.
Okay, so just tell him that he needs to put something else on if he wants to travel.
Absolutely. Because people shouldn't have to be dealing with that on the flight either.
But our kilted friend has vanished, and Yolanda knows she needs to find him.
I think I lost him.
He knows he's in the wrong and totally taking pleasure in the whole situation. Definitely knew he was in trouble because he's running from the cameras. This should be called Man Gets Harassed for Wearing a Skirt. Like, honestly, if the roles were reversed, nobody would care. Women cover themselves if they're wearing a skirt. Yes, women can wear skirts shorter, but they sure as shit just don't let everything just hang out. Even if they flush their underwear, that's not appropriate either. The fact that he was clearly enjoying the fact that others were uncomfortable around him. He can wear those shorts, but wear something appropriate underneath. No one wants to see your tackle.
Sir, excuse me. I'm sorry to bug you again, but I just had to speak to another manager about the situation. If you're going to travel on Southwest, we're going to have you put something else on. Do you have something to change into?
He's doing this on purpose. He should get arrested for indecent exposure. Kids are around. Yeah, the fact that he doesn't give a shit and he's literally smiling about that just pisses me off.
Am I being harassed with?
Well, it's not an issue of harassment, sir. There are a couple of the passengers that felt like you were indecently exposed, saying that there's nothing under your kilt and that we're going to have to ask you to put something on.
I don't think that's appropriate.
I don't think what you're doing is appropriate. Jesus Christ. If someone feels like you are accidentally exposing yourself, you would cover yourself with holding a jacket. Someone complains about that, put your jacket and cover it over your knees so that doesn't fucking happen again. But the fact that he just carried on doing it shows that he didn't fucking care.
Yeah.
I mean, what do I have to do? Do I have to show you my underwear?
No, you don't have to. No, you don't need to show me your underwear, sir.
Okay, well.
You don't need to, but
if you are not appropriately dressed and you're being asked to change, similar, like I say, women have also been told that they're not allowed to wear a bralette solely on flights and have to have like something to cover up with. If someone on the airline has told you to do that, you have to fucking do it. There is a dress code, whether you like it or not.
If the kilt is short enough to expose yourself when you sit down, then that's something that.
Ma'am, you have to tell everybody who's wearing a skirt or a kilt. This ain't right.
Okay, the only way though you're going to be able to travel, and I've already spoke to another manager about it, is to put something else on, and I'm sorry.
I'm just reading comments while they're discussing. Someone said, I don't see what the problem is, to be honest. Will they do the same if a lady was wearing that? And someone immediately said, if she's showing her bits to everyone, yes, literally. Someone else said, the man showed he had underwear on. Women do not get told to change their clothes. This is harassment and a violation of his rights. Wrong. Girls literally are forced to change shirts or go home if they wear strap shirt to school because they're showing shoulders. So, like, get over yourself.
What if I had not had a pair of blue jeans?
Then I would actually go out of my way to try to find you something to put on.
If it's making others uncomfortable, unfortunately, and you're literally exposing your parts to other people. So, same as like if someone was wearing arseless chaps, you're not allowed to fucking do that either. Do you know what I mean? Like there is, it's exhausting.
And even if I wasn't wearing anything underneath, what difference would it make? Does somebody go around and ask you if you're wearing underwear?
Because you're not allowed to indecently expose yourself to other people. You're lucky you weren't arrested.
Well,
Whether
no,
you're
but
wearing a skirt or a dress or anything, right?
if I'm in a public place and I sit down and they can see my private parts, then yeah, they have a right, if they're going to fly me on their airplane, to tell me that's not okay. You got to put some short. Do you have shorts that you can wear?
Right. I'm being harassed.
I'm sorry. I'm sorry,
glad you got
sir.
it on tape because I'm going to sue.
Threatening legal action is fine. But first things first, better find something to wear on the plane. Leverett Smith dons a pair of jeans for his flight, but he's not done yet.
I mean, I understand your concern, but you have to understand.
Do you know the definition of indecent exposure? It's a deliberate, willful, and a lascivious manner to expose yourself in public.
The fact that he knew the definition to the T, it should tell you something. Boy knows exactly what he's doing. This reminds me of guys that, like when I've done the TCAP series, when they turn around and go, the law is in specific states, blah, 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 blah. The reason you know that is because you're looking to take advantage of it. This is clearly, I mean, I could be wrong, but it doesn't seem like the iPhone-esque years were upon them at that time. So he didn't just get to, whilst he was getting changed, quickly Google and then, you know, immediately knew it off the top of his head. He knew that. He knew it. That says everything you need to know. Someone literally just said he literally sat with his legs spread apart with a grin on his face. He knew what he was doing. So that was the word lascivious? He did it on purpose. He seems very familiar with having to recite that definition. Yeah.
It's not by a woman walking down the street who has no underwear on or anything and the wind blows her skirt up or whatever she's wearing or dress. It's not considered indecent exposure, so you're way off base.
Telling on himself at this point. The fact that he's this pressed about having to put some trousers on.
What I'm saying to you is they felt like you were indecently exposed. I didn't say that you were.
So, you know,
if they can see your private parts when you sit down, that's a problem.
You know what?
I don't.
You don't even know the definition of the law.
Perfect comment, actually. If someone makes you aware and you continue to do it, it is intentional. Yes.
I'm not saying you broke a law, sir. I'm just saying that in order to travel, this is what we needed to have happen.
I've traveled on Southwest Airlines for the last 5 years like this, and I've never had a problem.
Suitably dressed, he heads home to Albuquerque.
I think she dealt with that incredibly well. If you want to see more of this series of the airline passengers, let me know in a comment below. And make sure to give this video a like. That makes sure that I know that you enjoy this content. But I hope you enjoyed the video, and I hope to see you all in the next one. Bye!